Hi everyone, I'm Kevin Nelson. Here's a look at what's going on this week in the news. We begin with news from the Vatican. Pope Francis spoke to a group of energy and oil executives and global investors this past weekend at the Vatican. During his speech, the Pope called for a new form of leadership in which leaders have a clear and profound realization that the earth is a single system and that humanity likewise is a single whole. Rome Reports has more from the Vatican.
Top gas and oil executives attended a two-day Vatican conference on energy transition and care for our common home. In his address to the nearly 40 participants, Pope Francis urged them to convert to clean energy, referencing the relationship between the environment and social issues.
L'individuazione di un adeguato mix energetico è fondamentale per combattere l'inquinamento, sradicare la povertà e promuovere l'equità sociale. Questi aspetti spesso si rafforzano a vicenda, dal momento che la cooperazione in campo energetico è destinata a incidere sull'allevamento della povertà, sulla promozione dell'inclusione sociale e sulla tutela ambientale.
Citing the ramifications for future generations, the Holy Father called world leaders in various sectors to refrain from only focusing on temporary gains.
Tanto le decisioni politiche quanto la responsabilità sociale delle imprese e i criteri di investimenti devono avere ben presente il perseguimento del bene comune a lungo termine, perché vi sia concreta solidarietà tra le generazioni, evitando opportunismi e cinismi volti ad ottenere nel breve periodo piccoli risultati parziali, ma che scaricherebbero sul futuro costi altissimi e danni altrettanto rilevanti.
The conference was attended by representatives from leading companies, including ExxonMobil, BP, and Royal Dutch Shell.
Looking now at news from around the country, serving others in God's love is the theme of this year's U.S. Catholic Church's Religious Freedom Week. The observance begins June 22nd, the feast of two English martyrs who fought religious persecution, St. John Fisher and St. Thomas More, and it will end on June 29th, the feast of two apostles martyred in Rome, St. Peter and Paul. In a statement, Archbishop Joseph Kurtz, chairman of the USCCB's Committee for Religious Liberty, encouraged people of faith to reflect on the importance of religious freedom so that they might have the space to carry out the mission of service and mercy. He also invited everyone to pray for our brothers and sisters who face intense persecution in other parts of the world. Two websites, usccb.org/religiousfreedomweek and usccb.org/freedom, have resources for observing the week and learning about current and ongoing threats to religious liberty. In news from around the world, Pope Francis has accepted the resignation of three Chilean bishops, including 61-year-old Bishop Juan Barros of Osorno, whose abuse survivors have alleged witnessed their abuse by his mentor, Father Fernando Caradima.
Pope Francis has accepted the first three resignations from the 34 Chilean bishops who met in Rome. On May 18th, all of the bishops presented their letters of resignation in Pope Francis's hands.
We want to announce that all the bishops who came to Rome have placed our positions in the hands of the Holy Father through a written letter so he can freely decide the fate of each one of us.
Among the three is Juan Barros, Bishop of Osorno, who's directly accused by victims of covering up abuse by another priest, Father Fernando Caradima. The other two are Monsignor Gonzalo Duarte Garcia de Cortezar, 76, from the Diocese of Valparaiso, and Christian Caro Cordero, 76, from the Archdiocese of Puerto Montt. Pope Francis has designated an apostolic administrator for each one of the three dioceses. The Pope said resignations are not sufficient to resolve the crisis because it's not only about addressing specific cases, but rather about going even further. Thus, it's likely that in the next few days, Pope Francis will continue to make decisions revolving around this case.
The announcement came as Pope Francis was sending his Vatican team back to Chile, led by Archbishop Charles Cicluna, to promote and advance the process of reparation and healing of abuse victims. The group is in Santiago June 12th and 13th before going to Osorno June 14th through the 17th. More news from around the world. The itinerary for Pope Francis's trip to Ireland for the World Meeting of Families was published on Monday in Maynooth, Ireland. According to the itinerary, the Pope will be in Ireland on August 25th and 26th, and his visit will include a quick trip to the Marian Shrine at Knock and a special meeting with homeless families. During the course of the two-day visit, the Pope is also expected to meet representatives of survivors of clerical abuse and residential abuse. The World Meeting of Families will conclude August 26 with an open-air mass in Dublin's Phoenix Park. This is the same venue where St. John Paul held an outdoor mass in 1979, where over 1.2 million people attended. However, for the World Meeting of Families, the crowd will be capped at 600,000 to comply with health and safety regulations. And finally in the news, a new study has concluded that children in Catholic schools are less disruptive and have more self-control than their peers in non-Catholic or public schools. The authors of the study conducted by the Thomas B. Fordham Institute drew 3 conclusions. Students in Catholic schools are less likely to be disruptive than those in other private schools or public schools. Students in Catholic schools exhibit more self-control. Specifically, they were more likely to control their temper, respect others' property, accept their fellow students' ideas, and handle peer pressure. And thirdly, students in Catholic schools exhibit more self-discipline than those in other public schools. The authors speculate that Catholic schools benefit from the power of religion to affect people's behavior, although they admit that the exact means by which this happens is unclear. They added that the power of religion to positively influence a child's behavior should not be underestimated. Well, that is all the information we have for you this time. I'm Kevin Nelson. Don't forget, you can keep up to date on Catholic news throughout the week with Catholic Newsbreak right here on the Catholic TV network.